Hey everyone, welcome back to Homegrown Passion. Today's video I'm going to do some seeding for my CSA program where I do 525 heads. So I'm getting all my stuff prepped here. I got my bottom tray, I got my tray that I put my Oasis cube in, and you all know I like Oasis the best, so I always use the multi-dimple. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready and start to do some seeding. I'm going to start some seeding for my winter CSA program. First up on the list for them is going to be Tatsoi. So let me grab out my seeds here and get this going. So if you hear some clicking in the background, it's the electric fencer we have. We moved it back here to the control tunnel because it's a little bit closer to the wire for the cow pasture, and it's easier for me to turn on and off if we have to do anything. So that's the clicking sound you guys all hear. So here's the Tatsoi I'm going to seed today. It takes about 6 weeks, and here it says, 25 days baby, 45 days full. I do it almost to full, but not quite because it gets a little bit too big in the channel. So I'm going to go ahead and seed this. I'm going to do 525 heads for my CSA program, and this is going to be ready to be harvested around November 14th, I think it is. So I got my trays ready here, my Oasis cube, the multi-dimple one. I have them all thoroughly wet down, and I'm going to go ahead and get these guys seeded because this is going to be my first crop after my deep clean. Okay, you can see I have all the seeds here in my seeder. I don't put the cover on it and tap them in. I just use the plant stake to kind of push them down the little chute area to get them into the Oasis cubes. Try to get 10 to 15 seeds in there or more, just depends on how many slide down. But what I try to do is make it so each one of these cubes is enough to fill up one bag for the harvest. You want to give your customers a nice amount of greens. You want to give them 6 to 8 ounces and up to 10 ounces of a product. So I want to make sure I don't have to double them up because that's wasted space. So I just kind of put these in here, and over the years Tatsoi's done really well for me, double or multi-seeding it like this. And I know this time of year it's going to take about 6 weeks because the days are getting shorter. In the peak of the summer this product will be done in 4 weeks or so, and in the middle of winter it could take up to 7 weeks. Because the days are shorter and you got lots of cloud cover. So it's good to keep notes of how long things take to grow in your area, so then you can do your seeding schedule, because nothing worse than trying to call up on your customers saying, oh, I'm sorry I don't have what you wanted on time. So I try to make sure I always have what I said I would bring. There's always unforeseen circumstances, but it's good to keep in communication, but try your best to make sure you can deliver what you promise. Now I'm going to keep on seeding here. So I'll show you guys when I get done. Well, I got my 2 trays seeded here. Got the labels on them so I know what it is and when I seeded it. And the last thing I'm going to do is put my covers on these guys. Keep them in the dark so they germinate. And then I'm going to put them out in the control tunnel, which I keep about 68 degrees this time of year. And then that should help with the germination. And then once they start sprouting, I'll take off the covers and get them under the lights. And then they'll go into the channels. Usually for this Asian green, it's usually about 11 to 15 days I get them in the channels. Unlike lettuce, it usually takes about 21 days. So it's not too long to get these guys germinated. And I'll keep you updated on how their progress is. Okay, so you saw the seeding for the CSA program. Now I'm going to do a little seeding here for me. Don't have the farmer's market, so I don't have a variety of stuff to grow to pick and choose from during the winter time, so I grow what I really like. And what grows really good for the lettuce for me is the 5-star greenhouse lettuce mix. In the wintertime, when the days are shorter, it's harder for the bibs and some of the other lettuces to form a head. So this comes along quite nicely and quickly, and it has a really good flavor, and it's easy to harvest and easy to use in the kitchen. So I'm going to do that. And the other thing that I really like in the greenhouse that I make a lot of omelets out of, and I also use it in pasta a lot, is Swiss chard. I used to use Baris, I think was the name of it, but Johnny Seeds discontinued that one. So I'm trying Charbel, and I had some good luck with it last year at the farmer's market, so I'm going to grow some of this for myself too. So with the Swiss chard, it's a larger seed, so I really can't use it in my seeder here. My seeder here. So I'm going to go ahead and I just put these in by hand, and I put like 5 or 6 seed in each one of these multi-holes here. And I try to make sure I get everyone into the hole. So this is how I seed this Swiss chard. I know when I'm doing it for the CSA program, it takes a little bit longer, but it's nothing better to have some fresh greens in the middle of winter, so I don't mind doing it for my customers. So the reason I put so many in a hole here is that each one of these will be one item for my CSA customer if I'm growing it for them, and for me it's just one. You'd save space in the greenhouse if you put multi-seeds in one hole here. So you can see some of the seeds are just flush with the top of the Oasis cube, and germination seems to work out pretty good for me. Like all my seeds, I always put the dark cover over them and they germinate, and I usually get about 95% germination rate. So now I'm going to do the 5-star. Okay, so here's the 5-star. Again, it's lettuce seeds, but it's not pelleted, so it's individual lettuce seeds here. I think it's like 5 or 6 different, or probably 5 different varieties from Johnny's Seeds here. They mixed together. And so I use my seeder here, and again, I put multi-seeds in one hole, and I fill the hole about halfway up. Try not to spill too many, but can't be perfect. But I usually get a really good germination rate with it, as long as the cubes are thoroughly wet and you keep them warm and covered up. This really makes a nice serving of, I call it a spring mix when I take it to the farmer's market, because it's all nice young lettuces, and it has the reds and the greens and some curly ones in there, so it's really nice presentation. Get those guys in there. So I hope you liked today's video on the seeding. It's always a fun thing to get things started and to watch them grow. So like always, leave me your questions, comments, and suggestions down below, and we'll see you guys next video.